And I was disappointed. Mamavi was one of the few privileged journalists who were credited.
Really? Yesterday you stood here. You announced to the whole world that you were going to the Flagstaff House.
You didn't ask question. I'm disappointed. Daily Graphic, Ghana's biggest selling newspaper since 1950. My records will speak on November 7th.
Yeah. This is coming out of, obviously, the press conference yesterday, and I have a message on WhatsApp that I want to read. It's related very much. It's a bit long.
Please read.
Maybe half of it would do. And the message came like the same message, like maybe
so just read
maybe 50 times.
Who's that? Let's mention his name first.
Let's see. No, he did. Okay, Samuel from Wale Wale.
Okay, so we'll read Samuel.
So Samuel says, good morning, Roland and Mamavi. The journalist who asked the president the numerous questions did not ask him a disability-related question. You journalists have carried out stories of unemployed, disabled university graduate picketing at the president's office as well as other disability issues in 2015, but you refused to ask questions on that, but rather you asked questions on unemployed nurses picketing. This confirms how every Ghanaian is biased towards persons with disability, and you journalists proved to we persons with disability that you are not an exception. Someone from Wale Wale, unemployed, disabled university graduate, obviously very much unhappy. I have been unhappy also about another area that no person asked a question on, and I'm going to be really wild on Saturday afternoon. Creative arts industry. No question. Nothing on entertainment.
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay.
You know, it's one of the sectors that provides and can provide
and employs a lot.
You know,
as well,
David Bowie, he died about 2 days ago or something of the sort. Today's Wednesday.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you know how much he left behind? $600 million.
That's a lot.
69 years, 600. So you can imagine, entertainment is
and entertainment is and it's the way to go. I mean, we haven't formalized things.
If we do, we'll get a lot more out
exactly.
Because, for example, on one film set, you can employ a lot more people. Graphics, makeup. I mean, it's more than just a job. Yeah.
A lot.
One film, they can spend about $200 million, for which our parliament will debate, and it will take us months, and there'll be rancor among the parties, minority, majority.
Yeah.
Only one film, they'll film 2 months, 200 million, make $1 billion.
Yeah.
So if we bring it into our state, if you look at the Nigerian film industry, a succinct example for us.
Yeah.
To also
and you know, they also have the state backing.
Yes.
You know, there are some awards.
Sure.
Some things that we need state backing. We've been talking about a big facility for events, for instance, that we don't have. I mean, look at the conference center. People posted some pictures of seats that you couldn't sit on, really, in bad state, and nobody dared ask anything about the creative arts industry. I am so disappointed.
It's one of the sectors, if we regularized and formalized, would be one of the biggest employment creation sectors for our country. If, for example, if we tend to make sure we do the training right, we do the regulation right, and then we do the mass education right, people will be paying for people's works, and then there could be a lot more revenue in the industry, if you ask me. There's one thing I don't do. I don't do downloads. When there's an artist...
Oh, you don't do downloads?
Yes, when there's an artist, I buy. Because I'm in the industry, so I know that that person will get whatever peswa or CD from what he has produced.
Yeah. Wow, you're a man of integrity.
Yeah.
But that's good, really. You're certain, you know, you're not just talking, but you're making. Yeah, okay, so you can send us a message on who you think, this is, I don't know, is it a fair question to ask? Who impressed you the most yesterday? Did you listen? Did you watch?
Yesterday myself, I did before.
All right, so who impressed you the most? Let's go on with what we have here. President defends his decision to accept Guantanamo Bay detainees. So President John Mahama has categorically debunked claims by sections of the public that the government's decision to accept the 2 former Guantanamo Bay detainees into the country was informed by monetary considerations. He says no money in exchange.
Well, British fugitive Simpson Kent has been charged with murder. He appeared before an Accra Magistrate Court, and there are talks that he will be repatriated to the United Kingdom.
But hang on, oh, do we have, I mean, this happened in a different jurisdiction. Can we charge him for murder in Ghana? I thought the discussion was getting him back, repatriating him.
You know, we have a law in which we have a pact with the UK as well as in the US for the United States for exchange of prisoners and those who have been convicted. And so, so we have.
Okay, so we're not trying him for the murder.
It doesn't apply to all citizens around the world, but for those from the US and also from the United Kingdom.
Okay,
yes.
I'm sure details of the story in the Daily Graphic would give you a better perspective. Let's move on to the Daily Guide newspaper, some of the headlines that we have this morning, Roland.
And Daily Guide has a story. Mahama fights for Al-Qaeda foot soldiers. I'm sure stemming out for that very press conference. Mining concession owners frustrated. And it talks about the increased rate of galamsey activities within Prestea and its surrounding areas, generating tension, especially between the Miners Association and the District Police Command, or Commander on one hand, and the concession owners or the concessionaires on the other. Also talk about alleged UK wife killer caged.
Hey.
And it is alleged that he killed his actress girlfriend, who starred in one of the most popular shows on the BBC. It's EastEnders. Have you watched one before?
Yes, I have. I didn't find it exciting as I don't know.
You're not UK.
Yes, I'm not British.
You're not British.
Maybe Michael Ameni, who is in the UK, who's watching, would better understand this. But I found no fun in watching EastEnders. I tell you what.
Have you watched British comedy? Sometimes you have to watch Kinney and listen Kinney before you say, I don't know what kind of.
Yeah. You don't find it funny, but people are laughing.
Yeah. So too, they don't find ours funny too. And the General Telegraph has a story. I won't jeopardize nation security again. From that very press interaction the president had, alleged British murderer remanded. And now we have Youth Employment Agency to recruit 20,000 health workers. And apparently, that's the Youth Employment Authority has announced its readiness in rolling out its numerous modules in February 2016 to reduce the rising rate or tide of unemployment among the youth in Ghana. Business and Financial Times, Mama V.
Toughen up, Mahama says, over fuel price hikes.
Times
President John Mahama is asking Ghanaians to toughen up in the face of recent hikes in petroleum prices following the introduction of an energy levy that has resulted in an average 30% increase in prices. Today, I was thinking about
you know
this.
what? I want the president to do this for the rest of the year. She should continue January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, November.
If it goes like this,
then November.
But I see this coming down sometime in October, thereabouts.
I think July. But it should continue to November. The end of the year, then October, November, then we'll go to November, December. I think that it will help. It will help him and his party. It is not bad.
But I like the position, that he took. Like kind of talking tough.
But he says that he has to take tough decisions, not because it is alluring or perhaps a lot more Ghanaians would like it, but because sometimes you need to have guts.
Yeah.
Because if you're a leader, you have to take tough decisions. You have to take decisions that will not appeal to everybody.
Yeah.
But because you believe that's the right thing to do.
Yeah, and I like, the two positions on the Guantanamo, and, like he's the commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces, and he's taking a decision based on what his officers have told him, and that's it. It doesn't matter what y'all think, man.
Yeah, I don't find anything wrong with what he said, man. Yeah. The president's got to do what he's got to do.
Yeah, man. That's why he's the president, yeah.
You got to do what you got to do. Capital gains tax shocks GSC.
The Ghana Stock Exchange.
Good. I want to say Ghana Education. Sorry, that's GS.
Right.
And apparently the capital market
education.
With all these things
Ghana
happening,
education.
with all these things happening with microfinance institutions and things like that, when you hear about stocks, capital gains, then you say, hey, but please cool down. The capital market is rife with shock and concerns that the introduction of a capital gains tax hurts the growth ambitions of the Ghana Stock Exchange, as investors looking to make maximum returns on investment are more likely to flee to other markets that provide better incentives. And Mamavi was talking about this yesterday. It means that, so for all of you who are making a lot of returns on your small treasury bill investments.
No.
So let's say you invested 500 Ghana cedis, and by percentage points you get per annum. That is, at the end of the period, per annum of some 26%, you get your money. A little bit of it, you'll be taxed 1%.
This one
so it means if you have 100,000 and you made your per annum 26%, it depends on which investment house gives you that 1%. If you have 5 million Ghana cedis, 1%.
No.
Heavy.
This one, dear.
Heavy do.
This one, dear.
Oh,
if you want people to invest, if you want to encourage people to save, is a no.
Is that what the finance minister has written to the GRA to suspend?
To suspend. But let's go through.
Suspension is not withdrawal, is it?
No, I think it's to withdraw or something like that.
No, suspend.
But we have to go through the right processes, though, because this is my fear. I think it's good what you said. Is it a total cancellation, as in we're taking it out of our books, or because people are talking,
it's a suspension.
We want to suspend
the
it
bank
for a while.
The bank VAT.
The 17.5 was suspended and it came back.
It will come back.
So
but don't worry.
Me, I'm watching. If anybody takes 1% out of anything,
there's nothing you can do, my friend.
I'm taking my money, and I'm not only taking my money and buying dollars.
Under your bed.
I'm announcing to everybody, let's buy
you're going to put the money under your pillow
and get wild dogs in the house.
Yeah. Not even your dollars, go on your interest.
No.
If you go and buy dollar.
But I'll keep it.
But fire outbreak, what will happen?
Oh, there will be fire.
Safe.
Listen, there's risk in everything.
Yo.
Everything is a risk. Like you standing here right now, reading airlines opt for new planes. That's a risk.
Domestic airlines is a risk. To take delivery of relatively new aircraft on dry lease arrangements this year, following ratification of the Cape Town What's the meaning of this?
Okay, grab the paper, you get a better understanding. So what we have done is to bring you some of the headlines in some of the newspapers as we got hold of it on myjoyonline.com. Your job is to go to the newsstand if you're interested and grab the newspapers and read in detail. Okay,
so we have a lot more of the stories than Mama V.
City FM Online.
Today we're not going to detail any of them. Just
okay, so Mahama's justification of new taxes unconvincing. That's according to Kweku Kwarteng, who is an NPP MP. Former Gitmo detainees don't deserve compassion. That's according to the Catholic bishops. I wasn't elected to make popular decisions. Roland said that a while ago. Mahama,
but I love this phrase. It's my phrase for the week.
Retreats on another doomsday promise. Ghana has more pressing security threats. That's according to the Foreign Affairs Minister Hannah Tete. Okay, so we didn't buy four X4 vehicles for cash.
Okay, and we have other stories. Mahama orders prosecution of DKM microfinance owners for fraud, and ASAP calls for resource rent law for mining sector. And you have you go up there, you have Stoneboy Wiles fans at D2R, and we have Kwesi Nyantakyi elected to Wafu Zombi. I think that will be in sports.
That's also one of the things that we'll be talking about when we get into the whole football talk or the sports talk here on the AM show. You've got to stay on with us. Okay, so let's do the BBC quickly now. Okay. Ghana defends, this is on the BBC page, the Africa page. Ghana defends Guantanamo prisoners. Let me just read the first line. Ghana's president strongly defends the government decision to allow 2 Yemenis freed from Guantanamo Bay to live in the West African states. That's how the BBC puts it. Really, that's my interest on this page. Nigeria Parliament loses budget copies. You can go to any of the websites.
Let's read that story.
Are not in school.
It's a very interesting story.
Yeah, this one. Wondering, don't
they have soft copies? It talks about how hundreds of copies of Nigeria's 2016 budget have gone missing at the country's parliament. An MP who requested anonymity has told the BBC. And apparently the Senate was unable to start considering the proposed budget because of the missing document, he said.
But isn't this familiar?
No, but if one is missing, go and print another one. I don't know. Okay, the delay could worsen the country's. Can you imagine?
This is familiar, isn't it? Have you forgotten about our own situation where some of the MPs argued that
they didn't see
that
something.
they didn't, some of the copies, some of the papers,
they didn't see it.
it wasn't part of it,
Okay.
and then suddenly they had.
And President Muhammadu Buhari delivered the hard copies of his first budget to both houses at the end of last month.
Charlie, Ghana and Nigeria.
What's the soft
I
copy?
love Ghana and Nigeria.
But we have soft copies around. And it details his plans. I don't get this one. It's so much amusing.
And this is on the BBC.
Yeah. Okay,
Africa,
so
man.
that'll be it for the morning. We have a couple of those messages.
Yeah.
We want to read them. What do you have?
Mahama really surprised me yesterday with his explanations. The line, Sonyai. This is what we'll do. I think we should have maybe some 5 minutes after the sports to come and talk about, because a lot of people are sending messages on the Meet the Press. And I want to ask for your own assessment, and then I'll give you mine. But we have to make way for Benedict now. The whole conversation, the president, how he responded, and who asked the most intelligent question. Can I put it that way?
All right.
Stay with us.
That's controversy.
Benedict Owusu-Danquah is up next. He's got sports.